everyone, and welcome to TV3 and our Spartan Sports Report for this week. We have Athletic Director Brent Duncan of CHS with us, and Sam and I, we're always happy to see Brent.
Oh, we are.
He gives us a lot of news about...
A lot of news. I like to ask him questions. He may not answer them, but I like to ask him questions.
I'll answer them to the best of my ability.
Season's winding down. We're into tournament play right now. So winter's right around the corner, isn't it?
Not far away.
Okay. We'll stick that answer, I guess.
I know Sam will know that girls' basketball practice starts on like 10:21, so.
Not too far away.
Just skipping away.
First boys' game.
2 weeks from today.
Mm-hmm.
First boys' game's 51 days away. I think the first girls' game's 31 days away.
Okay. So...
as far as basketball is concerned.
Friday night we went to East Central and played a team that's #1 in our conference, number 4 in 4A, I think, and number 10 in the entire state of Indiana high school football.
I know they're number 2 in 4A, only behind our ex-Spartan mentor Russ Recchi, who's number 1 in 4A at New Prairie.
Okay.
So, but yeah, they're a solid football team. That's obviously by far their most dominating sport.
Right.
Year in and year out.
Yes.
So.
127 players on the roster.
I think that's just kind of the culture that's been built down there, you know. So it was they have some large kids. So
absolutely.
You stop and look at our roster, and we have 4 kids that are 6'3" or above, and South Dearborn had 19 kids that were 6'3" and above. I'm not sure where they all come from, but they're not in Fayette County right now. So.
And they have the luxury of defensive units and offensive units, and they run them in and out, and they'll send a whole new crew of 11 on the field, and you don't miss a beat.
Well, it's helpful when you have the number, because then
Absolutely.
there's internal competition at your spot. So either you perform the way you're supposed to perform, or that kid that's sitting on the second string is just biting to take your job. And sometimes we don't have that luxury with the numbers game that we play with the kids that are playing. So we always hope to expand that, and if we can keep our 25 freshman kids out and keep adding to that, then maybe in 2 or 3 years we'll have that ability to play platoon football and keep our kids a little more rested.
Yeah,
so.
A manager or a coach loves nothing better than having kids compete for a position.
Well, there's always something to be said, and some of that's just your own internal drive, is that I don't want to be second string anymore. I want to be first string, and how hard are you willing to work to get above that person that's in front of you? Athletic, skill-wise, talent-wise, or just effort-wise. So
it takes that team quite a while to come out of the tunnel and 127.
It sure does. It's pretty neat to see all that. And then they had from first grade all the way up through middle school come out on the field prior to the game too, which took a little longer than maybe they expected. But that whole east end of the field was full of kids. I mean, and just shoulder to shoulder.
Yes, in the end zone, they were crowded in there, and I didn't think any more kids could find room, but it was a sight to see. And
of course, that's, I think, the biggest school in southeast Indiana. And
of 1,300 enrollment.
And you drive down there, you drive through St. Leon. Well, they're not coming from St. Leon, but a lot of, I got in trouble one time for saying they come out of Cincinnati, but a lot of people, I think, probably their parents work in Cincinnati, the greater Cincinnati area, and so they draw from all the subdivisions down there, and Sunman and Bright. It's things we don't normally, communities we don't see when we go there.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that Hidden Valley Lake has close to 500 houses around it, and they all live in that school district. So
they cover a big area of Indiana in that North Dearborn area. Yeah.
Almost all of Dearborn County is them until you get down to Lawrenceburg, and they butt all the way up to the edge of Lawrenceburg. So
and then they
it's
go
a massive school district.
Over Sunman, I believe that's in Ripley County. I mean, it's they draw from a couple of counties.
Mm-hmm. They've been there, what, 1970, early 70s? Is that when they?
I don't know. They used to be pretty small schools, so not anymore.
When they started, it was a tough night for the Spartans. And what do you say to your kids after a game like that?
I think from watching, I think the kids that are out there and participated did their best and worked hard at it.
Sure.
They're just physically bigger than we were, so they just eventually, football size is going to eventually take over unless you're just really kind of feisty little kids that can, as they used to call the rup runts, and just get after people. But it's hard. When you got 11 kids and you got to batter their 11 kids, and every one of them's at every position is bigger than yours. So size
Yes.
just. But I saw some things out of them that were positive. I didn't see any quit in them, and kids are out there. We're hustling down the field and trying to make tackles, and
That's the main thing.
so if you can continue to do that and just, as Frank Reich said at the Colts, just 1% better every day. So, maybe for us and everybody else in high school, it's got to be 10% better every day. But just as long as they're continuing to make those strides to make it better. And, hopefully we, like I said, keep the freshman kids out and the sophomores and build on with the juniors that we got coming back after this year. And see if we can increase our numbers, and numbers will help us get better. But football is that strange sport that you need numbers to win, and to win you got to get numbers. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. Where in basketball you can get away with 7 or 8 kids. You can't get away with 7 or 8 kids in football.
Sure.
You got to have a lot of numbers. So we'll hopefully continue to do that, and hopefully Adam will keep that growing.
69-7 was the final score. The Spartans scored late. Braxton Myers, a freshman Spartan, got beyond the defense of South Dearborn, and Adam hit him with a pass, and
It was beautiful.
Exciting play for the
and
Connersville folks.
it gave the kids on the field and on the sideline something to cheer about.
Yes.
And so they didn't go home with a goose egg. And,
Right.
And any time that you can break away and have a big run like that, it really looked good.
it
Fun.
was exciting to see.
I
and
think you've seen some good things out of our younger kids when they play kids that are their age, their ability, their size. Mm-hmm. And, we're going to go play the East Central's freshmen on Thursday, so we'll see how our freshmen match up against their freshmen, and hopefully we'll come out on the winning side. But our freshman/C team, which has some sprinkled down sophomores and in it, they're probably right around 500, so they've been competitive this year with the teams that we play on our schedule. Good. So hopefully we can continue that and make it better in the couple of years to come. So
Got to
Yes.
hold them together. Excuse me, friend.
Yeah, sure.
Keep them interested so they come back next year.
Mm-hmm.
well, you're going to have enough opportunities to get better, that's for sure. Coach Kelly has his hands into many things he can get them into, and the weight room's open. He's going to give them the opportunity to get better. So it's going to be up to them to believe and bite in and stick it out. And I think they are. I think they're a class that participates in a lot of things, not just football, but they also play basketball and baseball. And I know they're sprinkled in other sports as well. But that group of kids have played those 3 sports for most all of their lives. So you hope they will continue to stick that out and not fracture off into, I'm just going to be a basketball player, or I'm just going to be a baseball player or a soccer player or whatever. So we're not big enough to have those single sport kids anymore. So we need our kids playing multiple sports. And if you listen to the Colts owners and all the scouts from the Major League Baseball, they don't want single sport athletes either at theirs. But I think 29 of the top 32 draft picks in the NFL last year were multi-sport players in high school, not single sport athletes. So hopefully that we hit that message sent out there to get those kids involved. But
speaking of the Colts, they played their best game in a while at Kansas City Sunday night.
yeah, they played well last night, so it was a good sight to see, especially with as many injuries that they have on their team
Sure.
at this point in time. And so it's fun to watch.
Spartans home Friday night, final regular season home game with Lawrenceburg, probably the second best team in our conference. Their record is 6-1. Their only loss was to East Central, first game of the season. They won 6 straight. It's more than just a football game coming Friday night, right?
Yeah, it's senior night, so we're going to introduce our seniors for the football team, and then our cheerleaders, our Spartanettes, and our band members, and we'll take care of that at halftime.
Mm-hmm.
Have all those parents and the kids on the track to recognize them for what they've done this summer. We've already done all of our other fall sports at their individual sporting events, or we haven't done volleyball. We're actually going to do volleyball Thursday night, so that'll be the last one. So, but it's nice to have those kids and have them recognized for the stuff they've done for Connersville for the last 4 years.
It's an important game. It's pink night, too.
Yeah, it's not been publicized so much. We started to do it, but it's just kind of been thrown out there a little bit. But the guys will probably have a little bit of pink on them, but we're not going to really do anything special for Pink Out Night this year. So.
All starts at 7 o'clock Friday night, as we said, the final home game of the season. So we hope all the Spartan fans come out.
Well, it was nice weather, and we get everybody in the crowd and send off the kids from home anyway, with a big crowd and a lot of enthusiasm. Last year it came down to the last second with Lawrenceburg and us, and I think they were probably a little bit better last year than they were this year. So let's hope that good things happen for the Spartans.
Could have gone the other way toward
Yeah, we
us.
just had a couple bad breaks right to the end, so unfortunately.
Sam, you remember that game?
Yeah, I remember thinking that we've got this one, we're going to win this, and it came right down to the end there, and we didn't. And there was just some unfortunate things going on, but They got to put that behind them, but yet know that they did
Yes.
compete with them last year, and we got a lot of the same players back, so it ought to be a competitive game. I certainly hope so.
This Sunday, HSAA at 5 o'clock begins pairings for the baseball sectionals or the football sectionals. And I know you'd like to see one here, a game.
Well, it'd be all right. It'd be 8 years in a row that we've hosted the first round. So I know ever since Coach Kelly's been here, we hadn't had to travel on the road yet. So we'll be okay having a home game. I'm not the financial manager this year, so that's one thing off my plate. So I don't have to take care of all that finances for the all 7 games in the tournament. Somebody else said they'd take that on this year, so that's a good thing. So
Right. It's 5 o'clock, I think, isn't it?
yeah, 5 o'clock, and you can watch it on ihsatv.org. It's not live on TV anymore, so you got to web stream it. So get your computers hooked up, and you can watch it. And of course, 4A is going to be towards the end. So they always start with the single A, then 2A, then 3A, 4A, 5A, and 6A. So it'll go in that order. So
Who are the other teams in the sectional?
you're going to ask me, I don't have them all memorized. You got Shelbyville and I think Greenfield, and you're going to throw that loop underneath them, Mount Vernon. I won't get them all. So
But their teams.
we got a meeting next Thursday, then I'll remember exactly who's all in it.
Okay, so some of the teams we played during the season.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think so, because they're all 3A.
It's all
South Dearborn's going to go south. East Central, I can't remember if they're in there or not. So.
Franklin County. That would be.
Franklin
they're 4A.
County's, I think they're 3A in football.
Oh, I thought they
Yeah,
were
they're 4A, but they may go south that direction. So I have to go back and look at who's in each section.
Mount Vernon. That bunch.
Mount Vernon's in there.
Mount Vernon.
Pendleton.
Heights.
Greenfield, Shelbyville.
Shelbyville.
And I know
Richmond.
Mooresville used to be in Richmond's in it. Mooresville used to be in it, but they're not in it anymore. Can't remember which team came in. So it's an 8-teamer. So
Okay, we've talked a lot about football. We might talk about the other sports at CHS this week. On Tuesday, the tennis regional is at Richmond. That starts at 4:30. And Brent, do you know who will be opposites?
yeah, we play Richmond tomorrow at 4:30, and then we had a good match with them in the regular season. Come up on a little bit on the short end. Kids are playing really well right now, so hope I just didn't jinx us, but let's hope that continues. And if we happen to beat Richmond tomorrow night, which I think we will, but still got to play the game. Then we'll play the winner of the Batesville Knightstown match on Wednesday. So
Okay. And the winner from Richmond goes to?
semi-state. It's kind of funny because it's actually the team regional, but it's still the individual sectional. So then we'll go. The semi-state's at Center Grove, so then it's just a matter who comes into there. So
Wish the Spartans the best of luck. The girls' soccer sectional opens at Lawrenceburg at 6 o'clock is the beginning, and the girls will be against?
Lawrenceburg, at Lawrenceburg. So,
Have they met them during the season?
yeah, Lawrenceburg beat us rather easily during the regular season, so let's hope we can change those tunes a little bit as the sectional time
Do
comes
they
around.
play on the turf football field?
They do play on the turf football field, so it makes the ball roll a little bit differently, makes everything a little bit faster. So
So be a home field advantage, definitely for Lawrenceburg.
yeah, I would say so because they're used to.
playing there.
Yeah, while we kick the ball in our grass to get it to roll where we need it to roll, you don't have to kick it as hard to get it on the turf, and it's hard sometimes for them to make that adjustment.
Sure.
So.
And the boys' sectional will be at East Central, again a 6 o'clock start, and who's the opponent there?
Happen to be playing East Central again. So now they actually have grass field, and they'll play on the grass as long as it's not too wet. And if it gets too wet, they'll play on the turf. So hopefully it won't rain. It's much better to play on grass, in my opinion. But maybe it's 4-3 in the regular season, so
Okay.
it's a good ball game. So
Yeah.
hopefully we'll have a good match come tomorrow night.
I wish all those kids the best of luck. Volleyball with Rushville at 6:30 in the CHS gym. On Thursday, volleyball with Pendleton Heights, 5:30. It starts at that time. It'll be at the CHS gym, and that's the final regular season meet. So volleyball is about to come to a close. Friday, Spartan football with Lawrenceburg. We talked about senior night and pink out night. 7 o'clock kickoff, final home game of the season. On Saturday, Connorsville hosts the co-ed cross-country IHSAA sectional, 10 o'clock start at Spartan Stadium. I know you're looking forward to that.
Yeah, it's a good time. Start time's 10:30 for the first race.
Oh, okay.
So 10:30 and 11:15 for the
How many teams?
13. So
We won't ask you name all those.
I probably could get them all. I've been typing emails to
really?
them the last 3 days, but
Okay.
that's okay. But, yeah, it'd be 13. So, and this year the boys races first at 10:30, then the girls races after that, and then top 10 finishers from non-advancing teams and the top 5 teams get to travel to Rushville the next Saturday at the 19th. They host the regional. So
I know you're busy that day.
it's all right. All the preparation is beforehand, but it's just getting the kids through the finish line and making sure they're taken care of when they get across the finish line after running 3.1 miles, and hopefully nobody has any injuries. And we had a great cross-country invite with 17 teams in it, so won't be quite as crowded. Just remind people that Spartan Drive will be closed a little bit on Saturday morning because the kids do have to cross the road a little bit. So always come into the east side if you need to park to come out to the cross-country, and stay off the west side because it will be secured by people watching the roads and not letting you in. So
Right. They use most of the campus, right, to run?
yeah, all the way out from the top, the loop area to around the administration building, across the Career Center Drive and the Administration Drive, out behind Joe Glowacki's house, and out in the front of the school building. And so as long as you're on the east side of campus from the front door over for the tennis court, you'll be all right, but you won't get to the west side. So
Okay, well, hope a lot of people show up for that. Middle school sports, Monday a 3-way cross-country meet with Franklin County and Rushville. Volleyball Tuesday at Richmond Dennis at 5:30. That starts. The football and swimming diving seasons are over for the middle school. Middle school basketball begins on November 18th. Are you involved in that?
in which part? I try to get down there and see as much as I can and help with the middle school.
Sure. The kids, are they having workouts now, tryouts now for their basketball?
Getting ready to start next week, so
Okay.
won't be long.
Right. Here are the area football scores from last Friday. Centerville is 4-3 after they won 27-14 over Union County. Rushville is 1-6. They lost 48-18 to Lawrenceburg. Richmond is 2-5. They lost 54-12 to Lafayette Jeff. Franklin County is 4-3. They won at South Dearborn 33-13. Cambridge City is 2-5. They won 36-13 over Union City, and as we mentioned, Union County lost to Centerville 27-14. So that puts the Patriots at 1-6 on the season. What's coming up at CHS in sports?
Well, we had the volleyball draw last weekend, so
Okay.
sectional starts next week on the. But we drew the bye, so we don't have to play till the winner of the Rushville-Batesville game on Saturday morning at 12, October 12th. So we got a little bit of time. So
Where is that?
that's at Batesville. So and we play Rushville, of course, Tuesday night and Pendleton Heights on Thursday. But we're getting ready for the 6 winter sports. So
Right.
boys and girls basketball, boys and girls swimming, wrestling, and gymnastics. So they'll be
Okay.
right around the corner. So.
Yeah, we'll be here pretty soon. Talk about the prospects. What do you think? Wrestling team.
Well, Mac and Justin's done a good job the last 2 years, so hopefully we'll get a lot of kids come out. And the kids that were there last year, we had 3 semi-state qualifiers last year. 2 of them graduated, unfortunately, and Evan Schaefer will be our leading wrestler coming back that advanced to this semi-state last year. But we had some younger kids that had a good first year, and hopefully we had a girl place well in the girls' state wrestling meet, which is held by the coaches, and I know she's been trying to actively recruit other girls to come and wrestle. So not sure how well she's done yet, but she's been beating the bushes. So swimming, it's up and down depending on who's coming out. Jonathan Bittner will be our head coach this year. He's a kind of assistant with Daryl Drew last year, and still looking for a quality assistant swim coach. Still have our diving coach back, and another one we've been talking to in the last couple of days as well. So those are things. And gymnastics, just how much those girls have put time in the gym in the summertime, and hopefully they've put a lot of time in, because gymnastics is one of those sports where your body changes so much over the course of 4 or 5 months that if you take that 4 or 5 months time off, it's really detrimental to your to your gymnastic skills, because of how you got to swing and move your body and get it to go through the bar. Trust me, I've been there, done that, and lived that life. So, boys and girls basketball, Coach Harder's going to put a new set of Lady Spartans on the floor, and we're going to be pretty inexperienced for the most part at the varsity level. And Coach Brown's got a good contingent of kids coming back.
Yeah.
So you're always hopeful. You know, everybody's hopeful in October. It's what's happening in January and February where you figure out where you're at. So
Right.
You mentioned girl wrestling, and we saw last week at East Central their kicker, a girl. She was fantastic. They had, I think, another girl on that team, which is fine. But are there any girls sports that the opposite sex can play?
Boys are not allowed to participate in girl sports.
Okay.
That's in the bylaws. So
Okay, and that's fine. I just, you know, it's a little unusual to see girls participating in football and in wrestling, but I know that happens
there's
throughout the state.
probably close to 400 girls probably participating in wrestling throughout the
Really?
state. So, but and that girl from East Central, her dad was a kicker at LSU, so she's got a good little background in
Yeah,
her to
he's
help
trained her
her kicking,
well.
but she has good leg.
Oh, she does. And she
picked
wasn't very big,
I
just
really
a
thought she
sophomore.
made the 31-yarder, but they said it was no good, so I thought it went through the uprights.
I
But
thought it did too.
I'm not sure what happened because from my vantage point, I thought it was good. So she has a really good leg. So not very big either.
No,
I'd say
no.
maybe 5'5" at best.
Yeah,
At least from
but
my
from
Yeah.
from
where
the
I was
press
sitting
box.
at, that's where I couldn't.
Yeah.
But she didn't look very tall. So
Speaking of Evan Schaefer, he's a good football player. So being a wrestler, I would think each of those sports would help together with each other.
well, you try to tell the kids, and I know Justin and Mac have talked to our football kids about how much wrestling can help them on the football field with their footwork and using their hands and the ability and the quickness, and it's convincing everybody that that's how you need to do it. So, but yeah, Evans does a great job on the wrestling mat as well, and you know you can see his difference from him as a freshman 2 years ago to where he's at now as a junior. You know, he's now 6'4" and about 210 pounds, and not a piece of probably fat on his body, but and you know, it's pretty much a straight A kid and carries a 3.7 or higher.
That's what you look for in a
Yeah, I
student
mean, that's
athlete.
what you need is a good kid that's a hard worker and does what he's supposed to do in the classroom, does everything right. So, starting to get a few small looks at some of the smaller football schools in Division I in the local area. So hopefully that'll continue for him. So,
The Spartan Classic wrestling still coming?
still going strong. I just had one team drop out a couple weeks ago, so I'm still looking to fill the 32nd spot. So I've got some feelers out there. It's just a matter of getting one to hit. So.
Yeah.
We'll keep pushing the bushes until we can find somebody that takes it. If not, I guess we'll go with 31 for a year. So,
Can you go into Ohio?
yeah, I mean, we've had national trails over before. So,
Okay.
they didn't send very many kids, but they had two really good brothers. So I think that's why they wanted to come and wrestle. And I think when they graduated, they quit, didn't want to come back anymore. So, but they were fun to watch, that was for sure. So.
That's between the holidays, as always.
December 27th and December 28th. So, and that's the same day the boys will be playing in the Phil Cox first annual Phil Cox basketball tournament at Kokomo.
Right.
Looking forward to that.
I hope you guys enjoy it because I will not be there. I'll be watching wrestling, so which is just as fun. So,
Yeah, it's going to be an exciting event. Some good teams coming tonight.
yeah.
Kokomo.
Don't ask me. There's Jeffersonville and Valpo and South Bend Adams and South Bend Washington, I think, and Kokomo and Eastern and Jeffersonville. I probably said that one already. So there's a pretty good group of basketball
Yes.
schools coming in.
Right,
So,
right. What will it take to win that? I mean, how many games?
3.
3 in
So,
2 days?
Yeah. So.
And I think
I was going to say outscore your opponents each game, but that's
the Spartans play in the morning, I think, on the opening day.
I think we're game 2, if I remember right.
Okay.
Seems like I've seen the brackets, but it's
Right.
been a while, so it could change by the time we get there too. So
Right.
Talk a little bit, shift gears a little bit here to girls basketball. Early in the season, they will be at Southport for, it's not a tournament per se, right? It's a
Right.
classic or whatever you call that. And that's a pretty quick turnaround on.
that's the first Saturday after we played New Pal. Then, if you remember right, in the last couple years we played Ritter right after that. But that weekend, Southport called, and we were talking about maybe doing something different with Ritter anyway. And then Southport called me and wanted to know if we wanted to go in with them and Decatur Central and Ritter and do like what they call a shootout. So we will either play Ritter or Decatur Central in the morning, and Southport will play the other one in the morning, and in the afternoon we'll flip-flop opponents. So there'll be 4 games that day.
So.
No true title winner,
And
unless
right.
there's something between us with Southport versus Decatur Central. And so then next year it rotates to Decatur Central, then the third year it's coming to our place.
Okay.
And it's varsity and JV both.
And it's not, they're regular season games. The Rumble is tournament. Isn't there a rule about
You can play.
you can play some extra
20
games or
20 games in a tournament, but any other tournament you can play more tournaments, but you just have to count them as part of your 22 overall games. So that'd be just 2 games in our. Where at the Rumble we might play 3 or 4, so we'll count that one as the tournament, just like the wedding used to be with the guys. That's the tournament, and then the rest of the games just got to count as part of your total games that you can play. So.
all right.
I know the IHSA is concerned about officials having sufficient numbers. Is that a problem for you to do?
Oh, I think it just kind of goes in waves of which sport you have issues with officials, but I know a lot of our officials are becoming older. I know they're working on an initiative to join up with the National Guard for, because they sometimes need part-time things to do, is that they're not full-time in the military, so to speak, I guess. But I know there's a guy that's an IHSA official in the northwest corner, and he's kind of spearheading partnership with the IHSA and the National Guard to try to help some of them maybe get some extra money and et cetera on their off day, their days they got nights free or whatever. So this is the first year they're going to try to pilot that, and we'll see how that goes. But at one point in time they had a mentor system, tried to get young kids in there. And the problem with that was it was too young, and some of them would go to college and didn't have time to get there or whatever. But it's a great thing you can do. You can make a lot of extra money.
Commissioner Cox is concerned about the shortage, and he explains that he blames it sometimes on the fans. That
If you've noticed a big push in the last couple of years with the IHS, it's not about how our kids behave on our fields. It's about how our adults have treated our opponents and the officials and the fans and the kids and their behaviors in the stands. And I've always contended that sometimes if you just drop your kid off, the kid would probably have a greater experience. It wouldn't be fun for him because nobody would be there cheering him on. But there's a right way to do things and there's a wrong way to do things. And hopefully our fans are always going to continue to do the right way to do things. But we've all seen fans who've been unruly and a little bit out of control. And of course, if you get that way at school, the officials can eject you, and that costs us sportsmanship points towards your kids' teams and your school, and that's not a good thing either. So, but I think they said 15% or better of, I can't remember exactly, didn't renew their license because of the way they were treated by fans.
Yes.
So
it's a serious problem.
It is. And you got to admire those guys and gals that are willing to go out there. And they get paid, but it's not a lot of money. You're not going to make a living doing it. And to take the heat from, and they make mistakes. We make mistakes.
Absolutely. Right.
We all do, in one way or the other. But you just got to go on. Sometimes it's disappointing, but that's part of a life's lesson.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, it's too bad it's come to that, because these guys work hard and ladies work hard. I mean, I don't think it's an easy thing to officiate a game.
no, they have their normal job during the daytime, then they hustle in their car and try to get to wherever they go and travel. And some come from far distances. But you want the best you can get for your kids, so you try to find those that are highly ranked in the state and try to get them here as much as you can. So,
What's coming up at the IHSA meeting that you'll be attending?
can't really tell you, but no.
There he
We
goes
have a board
again.
meeting on Thursday, so
Okay.
I just got the agenda today, so I haven't read over it yet. But we had to sign up for all of our state events. So I'm going to work my first state event October 19th. I'll be working the unified flag football game with our special needs kids and our gen ed kids, the state finals, and then I'll be doing boys and girls soccer in a couple weeks at the state finals. So it's a good time.
Yeah, I'll bet. It's exciting. So we're happy to have you representing CHS on that board.
I appreciate it. It's good to have your community's name on all the programs at the state finals and have that Connersville name thrown out around the state. So hopefully we'll continue to serve and do a good job for them and represent our community very well.
As always, thanks for joining us.
Glad and happy to be here.
And thanks everybody for watching this edition of the Spartan Sports Report here on TV3. Good evening.